Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT news, and the semi-finals of VCT Masters are over, and one of the series that went down last night was undoubtedly one of the greatest series we've ever seen in VALORANT so far. OpTic DRX, an absolute banger. So much reaction to dive into today. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Firstly, gotta talk some rostermania stuff. Firstly from, well, former Andbox, now known as NYFU, registered for tomorrow's NSG tournament with the following lineup: Odorous, Neptune, Jaesung, Shot Up, and potentially your boy Dre, who's currently on Evil Geniuses. I'm not going to be there for too much longer, it does indeed seem. So that might be the squad they're going forward with. Pretty exciting one. Of course, lots going on in the North American circuit right now. 100 Thieves also in consideration. Before we talk about them, I wanted to mention Crazy Raccoon real quick, because there has been some talk that ShahZaM is actually very likely joining the active roster. So there's definitely been some interesting stuff going on with him and the Crazy Raccoon organization in general over on that side of things. But they're looking to get back into business as well, of course, with the Japanese scene looking very solid right now with the way that Zeta Division, they're still in the tournament. They play later on today, but they certainly have a very difficult match, as we shall dive into towards the end. 100 Thieves, just real quick, of course, they confirmed their new roster. Ethan is gone. His next step is very much up in the air. The whole Sinatraa situation right over at Sentinels is still a question mark that I'll try and do my best to keep you guys updated on if there are updates over these coming days. But 100 Thieves, of course, with their team of Will, Stella, Derek, Bang, and Asuna, they're going to play in their first tournament. Their debut is only in a few days' time here on April the 20th in the Knights Monthly Gauntlet. So they will be getting a bye to the round of 32 in the Open Qualifier for Challenger Stage 2. But this is going to be an early sign of how promising this new team and iteration is looking. Let's talk about these series then. First of all, before we go into the OpTic versus DRX series, this is an absurd stat that Ominous points out. DRX have not lost a round this entire tourney. I'm not sure this still continued through the OpTic series, but before the series it certainly was the case that whenever RB got the first kill, they won 100% of the rounds, 21 out of 21. So pretty bizarre. Even for Victor going into this series, that was about 90%. When Victor gets first spud, they win 90% of rounds. But for RB on DRX, it was actually 21 out of 21 times. So that was pretty absurd. But yeah, that was the series that was going to be underway. North America's final remaining team versus Korea's final remaining team. One of the best teams in the game, it seemed, in DRX, and they certainly came out the gates looking exactly like that. First game on Ascent, a map that of course OpTic are very good on, but by the end of this series, they might think twice about playing up against their next opponent, as DRX came out this round, for example, from Stacks was pretty spectacular. He got a very nice entry onto this site, a victory of 1 versus 2 clutch, gets the first kill, plants the spike, and then gets the second one as well after playing a beautiful place plant scenario. So yeah, Stacks has a great advantage here. Then pretty much the first game was dominant in their favor. OpTic had some chances, but DRX closed it out, and then the game 2 seemed to be going a very similar way. Ye, once again, honestly, they kind of avoided Ye. It was pretty impressive, because Ye on this map usually is an absolute force to be reckoned with, as indeed he still was, but kind of surprising to see them shut down Ye as much as they did, because 4-4 at this point, Ye gets a nice shot. If they could close out this round, the OpTic guys, you could see them having a pretty solid defensive side, and are not really putting themselves in a massive hole, already down 1-0 in the series right here. And Ye kind of doing what he does, but they isolated him quite a lot this game, definitely made him a non-factor effectively in this series, at least until the final map that we certainly will talk about. But this was a massive momentum switch here for DRX. They go up 5-4 here, they then go up 8-5 and then 9-5 after winning this round as well on their defensive side. So it was really looking bad for OpTic, right? They're down 9-5 on the offensive side of Icebox to try and come back in the series. DRX were looking spectacular, their teamwork, their coordination, just everything. Look at how well these guys are peaking all together. It was just fantastic stuff from DRX. Such a great team to watch. But OpTic managed to claw their way back into it. TenZ even said at this point pretty much, DRX is actually just next level with the level of their utility usage and their teamwork. They were looking so good. But OpTic managed to claw their way back into it, especially with this round from Crashies. This technically a 1 versus 4. He just gets the kill with the Hunter's Fury right before they can get on the defuse. And it was literally 0.04 seconds. There's nothing Crashies can do to stop this defuse apart from try the Hunter's Fury. It just about works out for them. 0.04 on the clock, and OpTic win a huge round. If they lose that, it very much could not have gone their way. But they bring this back to 8-9 as a result of this, and then they take the advantage. So honestly, OpTic on Icebox, their offense is FNS's calls have been very strong, and you've got to say credit to FNS, because not only has he turned up with some great calling, but also his fragging when the teams had their back against the wall has been phenomenal as well. But somehow Crashies gets enough down here with the Hunter's Fury to get them over the line in this round, and that takes them to a 12-11 advantage, where OpTic close out the game as well. And of course, Ye, it's what he tends to do in a situation like this when the tour de force comes through on the chamber. It's going to be GG. Marv gets 2 kills as well, and that's it for Stacks. There's no way he can clutch this one out. So OpTic come back from the brink, tie up the series at 1-1, and then we go into a split. And this kind of has been, well, historically at least for North American teams on Split, the last few weeks really. Like every single time North American teams tend to lose, Split usually is the map that it doesn't really work out for them particularly well for. Now Marved, again, put Marved in a 1 versus 1. Like this guy's going to clutch it almost every single time. Just unbelievable ice in this guy's veins. It's actually incredible. Like, he knows that he has the ice in the veins, and therefore I feel like when he gets put in a spot like this, he just always comes up clutch. A hugely important round here for OpTic. They take this one 5-4. They probably should have won this game on this split at least 3 times before they actually did, because they threw away some situations. This was really the example to me. Like, OpTic at this point were up 11-9. They just won a crucial round against DRX. DRX had to eco to the point where OpTic were going to get up 12-9, right? Then they just run out into this B side right here. They get shut down by the Molotov. Like, DRX completely destroy them, have 4 players left alive. And like, yeah, the classic North American thrifty situation where they have a great advantage, and then out of nowhere, Mako gets 2 with the molly, Marved and Crashies go down, and that's it done, right, to be honest. All OpTic have to do is take a bit more time, like, I'll be a bit more patient, I suppose, and not rush into a site against an eco that they're effectively stacking, and well, maybe they'd win this round, but it doesn't happen though. DRX take it to 11-10, and that honestly, a lot of people thought, and I even thought this might be the dagger, right, because this series already was insane. This was another great example. Ethan thought it was kind of done at this point, right? The OpTic thrifty curse comes through. It goes all the way to overtime, and even in the first round of overtime, well, there was one particular round where, OpTic had a nice pinch over towards the B site. They probably took slightly too long. The bomb was left in heaven. There's nothing they could do about it, and they end up losing that round. Like, yeah, I think that might have been actually the final round of regular play, and that goes to 12-12. They probably should have won the first set of overtime as well, and then they finally take this final round here. Ye gets the final kill, as you might well expect. 2 versus 1, and yes, OpTic in an unbelievable series. Generally, from start to finish, it was incredibly entertaining. The comeback OpTic on the game 2 was phenomenal. DRX played some great Valorant, but this is some of the highest level Valorant that I've seen, honestly, in a very long time. These two teams were playing on a new level, but maybe the next opponent that OpTic will play are playing on an even higher level right now, as you can see. So we'll dive into that series here in a second. But 15-13 in favor of OpTic on the map 3 in the series. And yeah, this was some of the reaction writers. Zest says from DRX, see you in the final, bro. So he's very convinced these two teams will be the ones to make it all the way. And FNS says, what now? And FNS has certainly been making his thoughts known in the last few days. But as Ethan says, if I'm DRX, I'm extremely confident going into the next match. They looked incredibly comfortable on Ascent, stayed composed throughout Split despite having their back against the wall a lot of the time. OpTic almost choked that one. So yes, DRX certainly are going to be favoured right now to make a lower bracket run. But there are 3 teams right now that seem to be a step above the rest. And as Ye says, 2-1 versus DRX intense series. Super proud of the team for putting it together. They clutched that one out of the bag. You got to respect it after that game too. And this is what FNS says, right? Kind of, well, he's been mentioning this a few days ago. This, he reckons that, well, as he says right here, we looked at the clip a couple of days ago. I wish North America had 6 spots. I think we have an insane region full of talents. And after this victory, making him, using the platform to make it known that he reckons TSM, 100 Thieves, Sentinels, C9, the Guards, and us, thank you very much, should be at these tournaments. Like, certainly there was some discussion going into this tournament about some of the spots that were being had. The Japanese spot, for example, whether they should even have one guaranteed, whether that should be its own region. Zeta Division have proved very resoundingly they do very much deserve to be here. So that's great. I do think in future, though, at least a 16-team event is probably what we want to have. I feel like North America having just 2 spots is probably doing them slightly harshly done. Of course, 6 spots is outrageous, but still, like, the Guard, I guess, Cloud9 would have been there, right, if there was 3 spots in North America, which probably they would have done something in this tournament, right? So you do have to wonder about some of the other regions and the numbers they have as well, but OpTic FNS is definitely making his thoughts clear after winning this particular series. These are the final stats actually as well. This is the Icebox one where they made the comeback 13-11. Split goes 13-15, of course, in favor of OpTic at the end, and Ye turned up. Ye had some crucial moments towards the end of the game on the chamber as well. That was great to see. Ascent goes 13-8, of course, early on in the favor of the DRX guys, and overall it looks like this. Zest had a phenomenal series, but yeah, Ye, Marved, all across the board, honestly, great performances. Like, Victor had some great moments. Like, Victor is honestly making me a believer on the Neon. Like, this guy on the Neon is so much fun to watch. He creates so much space for his team, and it's actually making me believe in the possibility that, yes, Neon can be viable at this level, because most people thought Neon's not going to be viable. Like, the ultimate is just ridiculous, let's be honest here. But, if the ultimate was a bit better, or they changed it, or, I don't know, increased damage, or reduced the amount of stars it takes to get it, like, maybe the ultimate is where the work needs to be done, but, Victor creates so much room for the team and, like, isolates so many situations and gets out of so much utility by using Neon's speed. So, really cool to see OpTic kind of utilize that in their meta, and that might be crucial for them against their next series, which will be up against Loud. They, honestly, I'm pretty sure Loud haven't lost a series since this team has been formed, effectively, like in their own region, and now coming into the Masters as well. They tanked down G2 pretty much resoundingly. Stacey is ridiculous. Like, the talent on this team is insane. Then you add in all the other things as well, and the team just gets even better. So game 1 on Ascent was not even close. There was this moment actually as well, like, well, Aspas gets an ace right here. Of course, due to the quarantining type situation, situation, the isolation situation. They have to play not on the main stage, which I'm sure is pretty frustrating for both teams effectively. But, you know, that's just kind of how it is. These guys are playing behind the scenes, still in a LAN environment, I suppose, which I guess is all we can ask for, really. And I suppose there's no crowd there anyway, really, to be in front of, but it wasn't ideal, I suppose, from a production standpoint. Hopefully things might change on that front over the coming days. I suppose we shall see. But, you know, Aspas with some great moments right here. This moment as well, actually, from ShahZaM, even though he lost this round, he goes in for the knife, which it was just absolutely absurd. He doesn't get the defuse in the end. G2 managed to win this pistol, being down 9-3. Didn't help them too much, though. 13-5, game 1 for Loud. And then, this was Hoodie's one clutch to try and keep them alive here. This game 2 was much closer, more entertaining over at the Breeze, but at Loud, again, just too strong. G2 played well. Very good team, of course, from the European side. The number 1 seed from that region after FBX couldn't make it, unfortunately. But, you know, Hoodie gets the job done. Nice little clutch here to keep them in the game, but it wasn't to be. 13-11 in the end for Loud this game. And as ShahZaM says to lots of support on the timeline, like, oh, well, if we translate this on real quick, effectively, I'm not even believing it. We're all the way to top 3. So that's top 3 guaranteed for Loud, top 3 guaranteed for OpTic. They all play each other in the Wins finals. And if anything, the way Loud played, they probably should be favourites for this series, because this Brazilian team is looking on another level right now. But honestly, DRX and OpTic also played great Valorant, so it's tough to call how the rest of this tournament is going to go. The overall stats are like this: ShahZaM plus 20, 39 in 19, Aspas plus 12, Les plus 10. Like, honestly, all the guys firing on all cylinders. Ascent was 13-5, Breeze 13-11. Like, yeah, Loud closed out with a spectacular offensive side here with 7 rounds in a row. That was one of the crucial points to get them over the line in the end. Just to mention this as well before we look at the bracket then, because just to see how, Mako from DRX, but also Aspas, ShahZaM are kind of dominating a lot of the numbers right now in terms of ADR, kills per round, ACS, average combat score, pure KD. There's some crazy numbers here. But yeah, Loud definitely making a case to be the favourites for this tournament right now. And this then is the bracket going into today. So yes, Loud versus OpTic, that comes up in a few days' time here in the upper finals. Before then, though, there's going to be a bit of a break after today. So today, DRX versus Zeta. To me, I think that Zeta are a great team, but DRX on another level within their own region. I think it's going to be really tough for Zeta here. So I'm going to take DRX 2-0. Then G2 versus PaperX. Tough to call. G2 weren't great against Loud, but I honestly think Loud just might be that good. So I think I'm going to take G2 2-1, but I might be wrong on this one. Who even knows? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button. Tell us your YouTube gods this is a good video. Others like you should see it as well. And I'll grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.
Now he got a tag, and it's not going to do enough of what he needs. And now FNS, where are you in this? And you're dead! They are just swinging him down. Crashy's desperate to try and do it. But now time. Has he bought enough time? Oh, the defuse. Just gonna hold this down as best they can and pray and hold their breath.
0.04, Lauren. No way.